So this is a urgent announcement that I want to put out to everyone in the community who is entering the Webtoon Webcomic 2025 contest. And I want to make sure that you are aware of the rules and that you are not making the mistake that many have fallen prey to in terms of editing your series. So before we get into what's going on specifically, please remember that everything that I say should be taken with a grain of salt. I am not a lawyer. I do not claim to be a lawyer. Like, we look at documents here on the channel, but that does not mean that you need to follow any of my advice. So I'm putting this disclaimer very firmly out there so that there is no confusion about what you should do. You should follow your own ideas, your own heart about the situation. So with that, I just want to say, if you're entering the Webtoon 2025 contest, Webcomic Legends, then do not edit your Webtoon entry. Editing your contest entry could result in disqualification from the Webtoon contest. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. I am going to be breaking this down. like I know that seems very, very clear. Like, don't edit your entry. But there is confusion about this, and the confusion comes in when there is a lack of clarity from Webtoons, and I feel like there is a lot of reasons why people are confused about this. All right, so let's go to one of the main sources that is from Webtoons that says about the editing. So it's number 18. This is from the Webtoon FAQ. I have it linked. Well, do I have it linked since I had to change channels? It will be linked in the description of the video. But number 18, can I update my submission during the contest period? No. No. Once your submission is uploaded, keyword, once your submission is uploaded, it cannot be updated or edited. Please ensure your submission meets all the requirements before finalizing and submitting. So there's a lot to take away from this, and basically they tell you cannot edit, and then they say once your submission is uploaded. Like, uploaded is basically you pressing publish. That's what that means, right? So there should be no other interpretation of this. Like, that is very clear. It says it cannot be updated or edited. So that means, like, once you press publish, it's done. It's finished. If there are mistakes in it, you're just going to have to grin and bear it. You're going to have to hope that the mistakes can be overlooked and you can move forward. So let's move to my next point. With this rule being the case, I feel like I must agree with Webtoons. It is the responsibility of the creator, of the people who want to participate in this contest, to read the contract, read the FAQs, read everything that Webtoons is putting out in relation to this contest very thoroughly. And with that being the case, I feel that it's even stronger put on people who want to win. Like, you have to, if you're entering these contests, you have to make sure that you do not eliminate yourself for any dumb reason. Like, oh, I decided that I missed the comma here, so I edited a speech bubble to add a comma. Based off of number 18 from the FAQ, that disqualifies you. So let's look at the actual contract. And this is the only thing that I feel like I could find, and that was also referenced in a later email, that even kind of touches on the like editing issue from the official contract. And so this is why I'm like, you need a lawyer, because even looking at this and reading it after I read over it a few times, I still felt like it would not be 100% clear. So this is the FAQ. You can see here, this is Webtoon's website, and this is number 18. So you can see there that this is where I took the source material. So that screenshot that I gave is from their own document. Okay. Perry Pitcher said FAQ is supplemental and not required reading. The actual rules are not as clear. Technically, if Webtoons is saying that the FAQ is a part of the official rules, it's a part of the official rules. Like this, the FAQ essentially would be an addendum to a contract. So if they say like, for further details, see the FAQ, then that is a part of the contract and would be legally binding in any court. Like if you had a contract with your landlord and he said that, hey, you're going to pay $1,500 a month, and then like 2 months later he comes to you and he has like written on a piece of paper, hey, I want to increase your rent by $200 a month, bringing it up to $1,700. You might look at that and be like, well, that's not an official contract. In the court's eyes, it would be a contract, so it would stand. Perry Pitcher says FAQ stands for frequently asked questions. It doesn't matter what it's called. Like you could have a contract between two people and both of y'all could call it whatever you want. It would still be a contract legally. Like you are bringing proof. If this was going to court, you are bringing proof that you told people that this is a document that affects contest entries. This is not something that's hidden. So I'm just saying that, legally you would be in the wrong because they released the information to you publicly. Like this isn't something that they hid. This is something that they released that is in association to the contract, because like they don't have all of the details in the actual contract. Like they don't necessarily have like super specifics on like how they're going to select the winners. So that's not in the contract. But I'm just telling you, like Webtoons, whatever they release about this contest is legally a part of the contest. Like you might not see it that way, which I can understand, but a court would see it that way. Like it's supplemental information to support their founding decision. Like it's just one of those things, because we're not signing anything. Like you're not signing a contract between them. So they're just releasing information and they're calling it a contract. Like it is a it is a like future binding contract, because since no one's signing anything with them, it leaves it open for them to do whatever they want. Like you didn't sign anything with them. These are just the rules that they made up that they are calling a contract. Like technically, if we were going to get really, really technical, a contract is between two people. So if you don't sign anything, like the contract isn't binding technically. So if they release information, it's really not a contract because you didn't sign it. Like you have to have two parties to sign something to make it a contract. But I digress. Like we could probably argue that until the end of time. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so your interpretation could be different, but that's just how I feel about it. So let's move on to this actual part in the actual contract. So this is 3.2, how to submit the webcomic and enter the contest. To enter the contest, eligible participants must publish the webcomic on the Canvas platform by visiting, and then they have a link to the challenge site, and then they refer to this as the website going forward. During the submission period, completing the registration form found on the website, the registration form, and following the on-screen instructions to submit the registration form and the webcomic. The registration form and the webcomic are collectively referred to as the initial submission. Limited 1. Initial submission per participant per genre. All initial submissions must be received by the end of the submission period. The Webtoon website database clock will be the official timekeeper for the contest. No substitutions or new versions of the initial submission will be accepted once the original submission is submitted for consideration. Okay, so if we pause there, this line in of itself says that you cannot edit your initial submission. So if we go back to this, where it defines what the initial submission is, it says, following the on-screen instructions to submit the registration form and the webcomic, the registration form and the webcomic are collectively referred to as the initial submission. So the initial submission is you filling out that registration form, you entering your webcomic, and then you hitting submit. So then it says no substitution. Substitution is a very broad word, which could also be interpreted from a legal standpoint as an edit. And then it also says no new versions. Therefore, only the original version is the one that can stay. So I'm just saying that if we base it off of this one sentence from the contract, and this is why you need a lawyer, because there are going to be things in legal documents that if I was just reading this, I would pay it no attention because it doesn't necessarily say edit, but it says no substitutions or new versions of the initial submission. So you hit submit, that's the initial submission. Then you go to edit it. That's making a new version of your initial submission, which is not allowed. So then it says to be safe, each participant should make certain that the participant's initial submission complies with these official rules before submitting it. Any initial submission that is considered by Webtoons in its discretion to violate the submission requirements in whole or in part may be disqualified. So then they follow up with this rule of we have the right to disqualify you if we feel like it. That's essentially what that last sentence said to me. So take that as you want to take it. But that is what they're referring to. So it is technically in the rules. You can, read it over multiple times if you want, but it is 3.2, how to submit the webcomic and enter the contest. So here's my issue with this entire situation, because this is what we're actually going to get into and what I want to actually elaborate on. So we've kind of covered like what Webtoon said. We've kind of covered what the legal document said, what the FAQ said. And so all of us, I feel like, can agree that the rule is that if you edit, you get disqualified. Like, there shouldn't be any other interpretation to this. So my problem is that Webtoons in of itself is like hugely contradicting themselves. Like, it is something where the rule is very clear. No edits are allowed. So if I email you and I say, hey, I edited my Webtoon, am I disqualified? The automatic answer to me should be yes. So why is staff saying so many different things to creators like, oh, we don't know, maybe, maybe not? Because at the end of the day, it is left up to Webtoons to decide if you're disqualified or not. They're the ones who are going to decide if you've broken the rule or not. So is it really a rule? And that's where I feel like a lot of confusion is coming in. So let's look at this. Me and some friends, we were sending emails to them because we were very curious about this. And like a lot of stuff started to come up. There was a lot of issues. So here's the email. And basically we emailed them like, hey, we edited the series. Like, can you give us feedback? Does this mean that the creator is now disqualified? So they said, hi there. Thank you for reaching out to us here and expressing an interest in participating in our 2025 Webtoon contest, Webcomic Legends. I'm happy to help clarify your question. While users have the ability to edit their series and episodes after being uploaded, please note that performing any in bold, like this person was like, whatever it might be, any edits to your submission during or after the submission period is strictly prohibited. So if it's prohibited, then basically that means you cannot do it. And so when they said any, what we were referring to was someone who was they were asking about, they edited their synopsis and changed their cover art. So what happened was they looked on the screen. On desktop, their cover art looked good. Then they looked on mobile and the cover art looked a little stretched. So they wanted to fix it so that they could present it and make it look better. That is something very hard to do, I guess, if you're not experienced. So like, I feel like there could be a little grace for things like that. That's just my personal opinion. Like, okay, you fixed your thumbnail, you fixed your cover art because it looked a little wonky. Like, you're having to do multiple things at once for this contest. And mind you, you're doing it all for free. Don't let me get started on that. But the thing of it is they said no edits for anything. So even if like it's technically not your fault, like how do you know that it's going to look wonky once you upload it? Maybe there's a way. But my issue with this is, why are we being so strict about this rule when you're not going to be strict about it? And then your own support staff is saying that no edits are allowed. So this is from Kristen. Let's look at our next one. So then we followed up with, am I disqualified then? So since this is prohibited, that means that automatically I should be disqualified. So then this is the message we get from Marcus. At this time, we cannot verify or deny if your series has been disqualified until the end of the first submission period. I feel like that's a slap in the face, because let's say this creator doesn't have all of their episodes up. So I could have been disqualified from episode 1 because I fixed my thumbnail or cover art and I fixed my synopsis. But you want me to keep uploading because that's just good for you guys. But really, I've been disqualified from day 1. Do you kind of see how shady that is? I feel like it's really, really dumb to say like, oh yeah, this is prohibited, but yeah, keep uploading. We can't confirm or deny whether or not like your series is wrong. So I just do not like the fact that there's such uncertainty for a rule that is very clear. Like, if Webtoons had been straight up and just said, yeah, you're disqualified, like, sorry, that entry cannot move forward, like, I would have respected that so much more, and I wouldn't have thought this was like as big an issue as I feel it is now, because I feel like it's just shady. Like, it's giving rigged almost. Like, it makes no sense that a creator who is investing so much time, let's say they started working on their series from the announcement, and they're going to keep working on it up until May 15th or 10th or whatever date it is. That's 6 months of work, 6 months of free labor that they're giving to Webtoons, and they could have been disqualified in March. So they could have moved on to either making a new series, or they could have, you know, put in some effort to just give some grace to people and like be like, hey, listen, sorry that we didn't clarify this very well. Like, it's kind of in flux ourselves. So like, this is why I feel like people are being like really hard about it. But I'm like, Webtoons themselves is being like not cool about it. Vero said, if anything, probably better to not ask Webtoons if you're disqualified in the off chance they don't look to begin with. I don't think it matters, to be honest. I feel like they probably know, like, from the moment they pull it up. And I mean, honestly, I don't know why that rule is in there, because why would it matter, to be honest? Like, and this is what I mean by that. They're going to pick who they want to pick at the end of the day. Like, even if people are like, why didn't my submission win? Because we didn't want it to. Like, this isn't the Olympics where it's like, whoever can run the fastest, whoever can swim the fastest. Like, everyone's competing in a very subjective category. And Webtoons has the right to pick whatever series that they want. They're a publishing house. Like, it makes no sense for them to be so hard about this when it's like, but at the end of the day, you hold all the power, so make it make sense. Well, we followed up that email with this. So, I've left out names and stuff, so I hope that's not confusing to everyone. Well, this person said, hello, I am entering the contest here, but haven't uploaded my series or an episode yet. There's been a lot of confusion amongst myself and my peers about the eligibility for disqualification. On the official rules, it seems there is no specific guidelines about disqualification in regards to editing your submission. However, there are terms in regard to team members. On the FAQ, it states only in question 14 that AI is disqualifying. In question 16, that reaching out to contest judges is disqualifying. And then in question 18, it states, can I update my submission during the contest period? No, once your submission is uploaded, it cannot be updated or edited. Please ensure your submission meets the requirements before finalizing and submitting it. Before I upload my preview episode, which would have just consisted of cover art and title card on a one panel submission, that cannot be further edited for the contest. In other words, this is my final submission for the contest. Or is it that any of the episodes I publish for the contest, whether episode 0, preview 1, 2, 3, etc., cannot be further edited per episode once I hit the final submit button for episode. I.e., I submit episode 0, preview, make no further changes to panels, titles, thumbnails, etc. I submit episode 1, no further changes to the panels, titles, thumbnails, etc., and so on. The other question here is, are we only allowed to publish at once all of our completed episodes and not touch or edit them at all? Or are we allowed to publish in staggered rollout? Since even a tiny grammatical error being edited on a panel or thumbnail being changed/swapped is grounds for disqualification, and this being my first time ever publishing to the site, I want to make sure I'm very clear on the exact requirements or disqualification, what's not allowed specifically, with screenshots if possible of the actual buttons, since some things I might not have access to since I have yet to set up any series yet, and any other guidance or information you might have in regard to this, it would be incredibly appreciated and helpful. I'm sorry. I was moving my head away from the mic because I'm trying to read the I'm trying to read the letter, and so I'm super sorry about that. Basically, we were just trying to be like really specific about what's going on here in the stream, and we were trying to follow up and make things as clear as possible with this email. So here was Webtoon's response. Thank you for reaching out to us and expressing an interest in participating in our 2025 contest, Webcomic Legends. We're happy to clarify your question. Number 1, can I update my submission during the contest period? No, once your submission is uploaded, it cannot be updated or edited in any way. That's super clear. Adding additional episodes does not count as editing, but please note that each episode can only be uploaded once. The official rules state under 3.2, again, this comes from Webtoons, under how to submit the webcomic and enter the contest, that no substitutes or new versions of initial submissions will be accepted once the original initial submissions is submitted for consideration. To be safe, each participant should make certain that the participant's initial submission complies with the official rules before submitting it. Any initial submission that is considered by Webtoons in its discretion to violate the submission requirements in whole or in part may be disqualified. Okay, I just want to pause there real quick so that you guys can fully understand that this is like a very legalese response. Like, and I understand that they're being professional. Like no ill will to them. But the thing of it is, like, even this sentence can be interpreted because initial submission could refer to this phase. Like, I can see how someone who doesn't think beyond just like reading the sentence, they could think like, oh, initial submission, that's the submission phase that we're in. This is my initial submission. And like, once judging closes, then it's no longer an initial submission. And that's why I'm saying, like, people are being like very strict and very hard about this, but I'm like, it's not very clear because Webtoons is making it not clear on purpose, because they're like, well, if someone breaks the rules, we have that little loophole in there that it's up to us to decide like whether or not a submission moves forward or not. Like, I feel like they might even tell people in the NDAs, like, if they move to the next round, like, you cannot say whether or not publicly your series was edited or not. Like, don't do that, because now it's become like a big discourse. So let's continue to see what Kristen had to say. Once any of your episodes have been submitted, editing afterwards is strictly prohibited, but you're more than welcome to upload additional episodes for your submission. Please note that all episodes submitted must meet the contest submission requirements, so we recommend that you ensure they comply with the official rules before submitting to the submission portal. So here's the thing, like, I mean, that document is huge. There's so many things that they could like rule your comic out on a technicality. The editing thing is just one of the few things that's come up right now. But I'm sure if I sat down and like really looked through the article, like I can think of tons of things that would immediately eliminate a comic from like, this is just from my own personal thinking, not from the contract, that I could include in the contract that could eliminate any series. Like, let's say they say in the contract, like, any Webtoon entry that breaks our TOS is disqualified. Their TOS is huge. There's tons of stuff that would break it. So that's why I'm like, this is the issue. The issue is the lack of transparency, the lack of clarity, the lack of just being upfront with people. Because let's say someone is disqualified right now. Instead of putting their efforts into making another episode, they could be putting their efforts into making a new series or submitting another series if they have one on the back burner. But no, Webtoons isn't going to let people know that they're disqualified. They'll probably let you know after the fact, if they do it at all. I don't think that's going to happen, period. So then they say, we hope this helps clarify your question. And then they did a reverse Uno on this email, and they linked the official rules and the FAQ. And this is where I say they are using the FAQ as an official document for the contest. It's not just, frequently asked questions. Because if you guys do not remember this, frequently asked questions was a document that was released before the contract was released. And I'm like, who was asking these questions? Nobody. This is something Webtoons made up. They just made it up and added it. Like, it is an additional resource to help people be able to understand the contract so that they can say, hey, we even went so far to help creators by making an FAQ that really broke down a lot of the big points for disqualification that were not in legalese. Like, yes, this is in the contract, and yes, we could see how you could miss it, but you could not say in front of a judge, like, oh, judge, well, I didn't understand the contract. And then the judge says, but they made a FAQ, which is basically a Cliff Notes version of the contract. How did you still not understand it? Like, what would you say then? Like what would you say? You can't say anything. Like, and that's why I'm like, on the business side, I agree with Webtoons. My issue is this very disrespectful to creators who are putting in work to not just tell them that you're disqualified. I'm looking at comments, so give me 1 second to see if anybody asked anything in particular before jumping on to the next point. I see is talking about the prologue and how they email Webtoons. I thought about that too, about how some of the prologues or how people are using like cover art as like their episode 1. And I was like, I feel like that to me, when I saw it, I was like, I don't think that meets Webtoon's requirements. Like for the contest, like they were pretty specific about like it needs to be 40 episodes. I mean, 40 panels or whatever you're entering. It needs to be that minimum. But that was just me. Okay, so then we have this article from Reddit. And so I'm just going to jump on Reddit. This is also going to be linked in the description. So if you want to check it out yourself, you can. But just pulling this up here. So this is a person who's also dealing with the editing issue, the crisis that is going on right now. And so this is what they said. Guys, I got a response back from Webtoon through their email. Here's the copy-paste version. Okay, so take this with a grain of salt. I don't necessarily like the fact that they just didn't include a screenshot of the email. Like, I'm fine with the copy and paste, but with the contest going on right now, and the fact that I have dealt with so many people that have emailed Webtoons and nobody's gotten a response back like this, I'm very curious if, you know, maybe they did this today and Webtoons was just like, oh my God, people are like really freaking out about this. Let's email. But I really need to test this to find out like, hey, did Webtoons have a change of heart and they're trying to clarify things now? Or is this just like a misinterpretation of the email or someone trolling? So they said, hello there. Thank you for reaching out to us. For clarity, like, okay, here's my other thing about this. I don't necessarily like all of the emails that we've gotten from Webtoons from when me and a few other people were testing it. It was very short and sweet. And it was written in a way that left a lot of loopholes. So I don't know about this email. I just get weird feelings about it, to be honest. So they said, for clarity, once the submission period closes, you will not be able to edit or update your series. Thus, while your submission is still eligible, we kindly ask you to make sure that your episodes meet the submission requirements before this deadline. Secondly, you can submit all your episodes at once or over time. As a contest participant, you can determine the upload schedule that works best for you and your submission. Webtoon's app will prompt readers to subscribe to your series after the 3rd episode. So many creators do choose to launch their series with 3 episodes to make use of this feature. However, during past contests, creators have sometimes published their episodes weekly to stand out to new readers tuning in to explore contest entries, or they may publish all 3 initial episodes and then share additional content to keep readers engaged. Your publishing schedule is ultimately up to you, but please keep the closure date / time in mind. Like, this does not read right to me. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. I digress. Like, I've kind of set my thoughts on it. So, like I said, take everything with a grain of salt. But it doesn't seem right to me. I just can't emphasize that enough. So then this person, they say they got an email as well and they copy paste it. Again, I wish you would have added screenshots. I don't like dealing with, conjecture like this without screenshots. That's why I included screenshots in my presentation in the PowerPoint so that you guys could see like this was from Webtoons, even though you didn't get to see like the names of everything, but I brought receipts. Okay, they said, hi there. Thank you for reaching out to us here with your question. Can I update my submission during the contest period? No. Once your submission is uploaded, it cannot be updated or edited. The official rules state that no substitutions or new versions of initial submissions will be accepted once the original initial submission is submitted for consideration. To be safe, each participant should make certain that the participant's initial submission complies with the official rules before submitting it. Any initial submission that is considered by Webtoons in its discretion to violate the submission requirements in whole or in part may be disqualified. See, this reads like an official statement. Like, this reads like somebody at Webtoons typed this up and gave it to the interns and was like, copy and paste this. Like, do not interpret. Copy and paste this. So then they say, if you get further notified that your entry has been disqualified, you may want to consider creating an entirely new series for a different genre category to enter into in the order to ensure eligibility. Unfortunately, we are unable to provide further clarification this channel as to me if your specific entry has been disqualified due to editing your series thumbnail. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Webtoons, the behavior is diabolical. Like, you can't even tell anybody if they've been disqualified or not because you don't want to. Like, you totally could. You made the rule. You said no editing. Therefore, it should be clear, black and white. So that's kind of like my issue with this, and that's why I really wanted to bring it to people's attention. I don't want anybody to get disqualified for no reason. Like something so dumb as editing your thumbnail. Like, if it looks stretched, just move on. I'm sorry that is going to be ugly to you and it's going to bother you. I'm sorry if you read it and you find a typo or a grammatical error. Just like, keep it moving. So let me explain why I disagree with this mentality. And I might rant here a little bit, so I'm sorry to all of you who are listening. But it's diabolical for Webtoons to kind of market itself as a creator-first platform. And I know that we know that they aren't, but the issue here is the fact that they like to kind of talk about the fact like, oh, so many people came from Canvas. Look at all these people who are from Canvas. Look at how much success they have and they were from Canvas. And it very much gives the idea in a lot of creators' heads like, oh, we look out for creators. Like, it implies that without saying that. You know what I mean? And so it makes it feel like people can trust Webtoons. So you have a lot of people who enter into these contests or enter into these contracts with Webtoons, and Webtoons is doing the exact opposite. They're literally just there to make money off of you. And the more naive you are, the better for them. Like, they love it. They love it. And contests like this bring out the most desperate people. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because it's hard in the art field. But Webtoons kind of knows that. Like, they know like how desperate people are. And so that's why I feel like you really, really, really need to take a good look at yourself and realize that right now there are over 1,000 entries. That means that, let's say there's 1,040. That means there are going to be 1,000 losers. And I don't mean that to be cruel or mean or anything, but understand that this is a competition. And Webtoons has the right to select whatever series that they want. I give that to them. But if they're going to put creators first, and if they're even going to try and manipulate people into believing that, yes, we put creators first, they could allow for some grace. They could allow for a clarification. They could allow for people who have edited and did not understand. Like, if they put out a public statement and say, hey guys, we are so sorry that, there was a misunderstanding. We love our creators and we want to make sure that everyone has a fair and has a, very wonderful time with our contest. And so we want to make it very clear that any edits going forward as of this day, if you edit your thumbnail, if you edit your synopsis, if you edit a speech bubble, whatever it might be, that will be grounds for disqualification if we so see the need. That's all they would need to say. And it would be completely fine. And I feel like it would contribute to the overall trust that they try to build with creators. That is an illusion. But I just feel like if they're going to keep marketing themselves this way and marketing themselves as not just like a grubby, evil corporation, then it's the little things like this that would really go a long way in the creator space. Perry Pritchard says, I think they don't want to commit to a flat rule that potentially half of entrants already broke. But here's the thing, Perry. They made the rules. Like, there was no reason for that to be in the contract, period. Like, why make a rule like that disqualifies people and then you add the edit button? Like, it's giving very much entrapment. It's like if you put dessert in front of a child and you're like, you're not supposed to eat dessert right now. And then like you walk away from the table, you expect them not to eat it. Like, what the heck? Like, it's really crazy to me for them to expect like people to not understand that the edit button being there is really confusing, because you might have felt when you initially read it like that wouldn't be an option. And then when you saw it, you were like, oh, Webtoons changed their mind. Like, you could have thought that. Like, there's so many areas where I feel like it's like a weird manipulation almost to eliminate people, and it just doesn't read right to me. Chain said, just Webtoons covering their butts. But what are they covering their butts for? Like, they made the contest. Like, nobody would know why somebody was eliminated without Webtoons telling them. Like, if you were disqualified, the only way you would know is if Webtoons told you. Like, and why would Webtoons tell people, to be honest? Like, if I was working at Webtoons, I'd be like, yeah, they're disqualified. But we wouldn't tell you because I want you to keep uploading into my contest. Like, why would I tell you you're disqualified? I feel like that doesn't make any sense. Like, what are they covering their butts from? Backlash against creators? They don't care. Like, I feel like everything that they've done, like, in against creators, I feel like they rarely, if ever, apologize for any type of behavior that they do that's a little nefarious. So I don't think they're trying to cover their butts at all. Like, I don't understand why that clause was in the contract. Like, what do you mean? Like, honestly, if they had just removed the edit button, that would have saved them a lot of confusion. But they're the ones who left it. Vero said, I think it's to see if people can follow instructions. I don't know, like some weird way to weed out entrants just because. But see, here's the thing about that. Webtoons makes mistakes on their original Webtoons all the time. So for them to say like, oh my God, if you make a mistake, that shows that you're not original level. What the heck, Webtoons? I read some of y'all's original series all the time that have typos in it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense. For them to expect that people are not going to find typos after the fact is insane behavior. Like, they're putting so much pressure on the indie creator by doing this that it's ridiculous when they don't have that type of level of thorough editing within their own works. Like, I could see if Webtoons was like a perfectionist company where like they tried their best to make sure that everything was always super high quality, like everything was edited super thoroughly, like, but they don't even do that themselves. So I'm just like, bro, how are you trying to hold us to standards that you don't even do yourself? Okay, so here's my next thing. There's been a lot of confusion, and there's one thing that I learned throughout all of like my work life and throughout all of like my, educational life is that if you're teaching something and a majority of your students or employees do not understand what you're trying to convey or explain, then the issue is with you. Like, you're the one that created the problem. Like, you're the problem. So this is where I feel like either it's a bad rule because there is a lack of clarity, or it's a bad rule because people are seeing the injustice in it and not understanding how to move forward after the fact. So, like, if you don't want people to edit the series, why have an edit button? What is the purpose? There isn't one. Erica said, it's strange how they aren't heavily promoting the contest on their app for readers to find, but just enough where creators know of the contest. It does give a feeling of keeping it within the creator. I don't know what their strategy is because I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. So as I continue to document things, I feel like we'll have a better understanding of what they're trying to do. But I personally feel like they don't know. Like, they're just doing whatever they want, to be honest. Perry said, has this issue come up in the past contests? Feels like they're building the plane as it takes off. Their contests have always kind of felt like it's last minute. Like, it's always kind of given a feeling of, yep, we did that, oops, or yep, we did that, oh, it worked out. Like, that's kind of always been the feeling for a lot of their contests, in my opinion. Someone already mentioned that the previous winners were not popular in all competitions. No, they weren't. Like, like one of the Webtoon originals, like one of their darlings, she didn't even win the contest and she became an original. So like that's what I'm saying. Like the contests are super subjective. Like of the 10 winners from last year, one of them released the series. So like Webtoons kind of just does whatever it wants. Like honestly, the more I think about it, I feel like the contest is just gonna be a big tax write-off. Like, I'm sorry. Uh she said the 2020 contest was way more organized. I was that the CTA? That had to be the CTA. I think it was slightly more organized. And the reason I think it was slightly more organized is because they were only focusing on one thing and it was one episode. I don't think they did rounds. Like it was literally like post your episode and you're done. Like that was it. Willow said, in the end, it's Webtoon's call. We just got to write the best. Yeah, absolutely. Like, at the end of the day, listen, guys, you're entering a subjective contest. There are no clear parameters for what makes a good story. Like, so at the end of the day, regardless if you wrote a masterpiece, Webtoons decides who they want to enlist. Okay, that's why I was thinking. I was like, CTA had to be 2022. Like, I was like, was that 2020? I don't think I was around for the 2020 contest. Poyo said, what if Webtoons takes down your episode for censorship and then it gets put back up? Would it still be disqualified? That actually happened to a friend of mine and their series was not disqualified. So, and it did not count as an edit. Oh, that's something I wanted to talk about. So it's really interesting to me. Like, and I'm not trying to, Lord, I don't know if I want to talk about this on public because I feel like if someone at Webtoons is watching this, it would kind of like, it might go against people. So I'm going to leave that alone. But I have thoughts on that I might share in the future if someone remembers after the initial submissions go through. But I feel like it's still kind of an edit, but we'll leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to move forward. Shiso Draw. It was the brain and heart. Oh, wait. I do kind of remember the brain and heart contest very vaguely. I think I was around, but I wasn't like into it like I am right now. Vero said, yeah, pretty much why my entry is just gonna try to gimmick them into not wanting to skip or something that could be popular. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Chiron said, to be fair, there's so many Canvas series, maybe the competition will help to highlight some of them. I hope so. Yes, the plan is to take tons of notes. I'm trying to document everything that I can so that when the next contest shows up like 5 years from now, it will be like ... And hopefully I'll have some more power then where I can be like, Webtoons, this is disgusting. Okay, so here's my last thing about this. And I feel like this is a large reason of why I feel like the contest is somewhat of a marketing ploy, hoax type thing, is that children can enter. Like someone who's 13 can enter, and legally they cannot enter into a contract. So if a 13-year-old won, it doesn't make sense to me that Webtoons would offer them a contract because like there's so much legality in having a child work for you. So my point with all of this is if you're allowing for people who are that young to enter a contest, there's no way that they are going to understand a contract written by a lawyer who's gone to like 10 years of school. There's no way that a 13-year-old could understand that. Maybe there's like some exceptions, like a math genius or, you know, something like that. But my point with that is like, there should be, to a reasonable degree, like aspects of fun for the contest. And I feel like it's really, really hard to tell like a 13, 14-year-old, like, once you submit this, you can't do anything. Like, you're done. Like, I just feel like there should be a little bit of grace. A little bit. I'm gonna just keep preaching that. Like, if y'all are going to be like, well, we can do whatever we want, I feel like there should be a minor amount of grace given to the creators just to give them a little respect. That's all I want to say. Icy said, I mean, I'm 17, but my birthday is in May, so I'll be 18 before the contest ends. So I'm really talking about like 13-year-olds, like 14-year-olds. Like that's really what I'm getting at, to be honest, cuz I feel like they're still in the realm of being children. I know it's only a few years younger than you, but I just feel like if you include a certain group of people, like there should be exceptions made for that group of people so that they can have a decent experience as well, which obviously I feel like Webtoons is probably like, well, we're not going to sign with them, like, obviously. Which maybe they will. No weird. Hi Pantheon, it's my second time here live. Your videos has been really helpful. Thank you for your hard work. Do better, Webtoons. Yes. Can we all agree with that? Like, we just want Webtoons to do better. If they're going to make a contract with you at the moment of your winning, they'll sign it with you as an adult since it's already 18. To be honest, I see if I was Webtoons and let's say a 13-year-old made a banger comic, like it was amazing, I would just tell them, hey, when you turn 18, we're going to sign you. Like, you're not going to win the contest right now, but in 4 or 5 years, like, keep working on your series, flesh it out. Like, I mean, you're a child. Like, you have all the time in the world. You don't have any bills, any responsibilities. So I feel like, if Webtoons really wants a series, they're gonna make it work. Like, they might wait so they don't have to go through all of that red tape legally, but they'll make it work. All right, all right. So I just feel like the mentality for the competition is just becoming more and more disrespectful. It's so annoying. Um, Colorado said, would they not just need the signature from their parents? So here's the thing about this. Webtoons is a very high labor intensive type job where creators are set up as independent contractors, which means essentially the child would have to be like an LLC or something like that because Webtoons does not hire creators as employees. So that means that the child is in charge of all of their stuff. Well, there are child labor laws in place that say that children cannot work over a certain hour requirement. It varies from state to state, but there's no way that a child would be able to go to school to, handle all of their responsibilities like homework and household chores and whatever other aspects of their life are involved with being a child and be able to make a webtoon. Like, as an adult, you can do whatever you want. Like, if you want to have a high labor intensive job, but from the government perspective, like, children in the US cannot do that. Like, you would be really pushing at Webtoons. And even with setting them up as an LLC under the parent's name, like, I don't think any parent would want their child working 40 plus hours a week to complete a series. Like, I feel like that's kind of like beyond crazy. Like it's too much red tape. Like, even for like Hollywood children, there's so much like involved with like being able to work with them that like it's really not worth it a lot of times because it's just like too complicated. So I'm just saying, like, it would not make sense from a business perspective to hire someone that young and then to have to deal with their parents, because what are you going to say when the parent says they're not working on Webtoons this week? Like, they're not allowed. Like, you're abusing my child. Like, could you imagine, like, if Webtoons did that? I feel like they would be in a world of hurt. Like, so many parents in the US would be sending out lawsuits against Webtoons. Like, Webtoons is trying to force my child into the grave. Like, my child is now has, like, I don't know, like, hand cramps or something, like arthritis, because they're working for Webtoons 40 hours a week. Like, the US would eat that up, and like Webtoons would be like, we're going back to Korea, close up shop. So, like, it's a little more complicated in my opinion than that. Like, We'll see. We'll see. Paper Crowned King. Hello, Pantheon. Hello. I don't think I've ever gotten a chance to talk to you. Your videos are informative. You're doing much explaining the contest for them. Webtoons should pay you. Webtoons should pay me. They never would, but I would love to have a creator relations job in the industry. I feel like that would be like something I'd really enjoy. Like getting a chance to talk to you guys and getting a chance to like kind of help you move forward, I feel like would be something that I would love to do. I'd love to help more people find opportunities in the industry because I feel like there's a lot out there, and I don't think Webtoons is the end all be all company. Like, I feel like there's other companies out there that you could work for yourself. I see. Yeah, I feel they tried to buy the story idea though. I don't think so. I feel like it makes much more sense to have you make it because they can lowball you. Like if it's your first job and you want to work as an artist, like you don't have any bills, you don't have any responsibilities at 18, you're living at home with your parents. I feel like Webtoons would be like, yeah, it makes more sense to pay you than our in-house artist and writer to make the story. Like we can pay you $600 an episode where we would have to pay them like their own salary. So like they would make way more money working on that project and dedicating time to that when they could be working on something else, like adapting IPs that Webtoons is acquiring through other publishers like Antheon. Okay, so should you contact Webtoons? This is my last thing. In my opinion, if you are a creator who is concerned that you are in violation of any rule, do not email Webtoons. Like, it's not that deep. Like, if you've broken the rules, then just move on. Like, I don't think Webtoons is going to enforce this rule as much as people are talking about. I do feel that if you haven't broken the rule, then, just be careful. And if you have broken the rule, then don't worry about it. Let Webtoon tell you they found you in violation. If you have edited your story and have not received a notice of disqualification, don't point it out to Webtoons. There's no reason to call attention to something they might overlook or they might not care about at all. So that's why I feel like, if Webtoons wants to play this game, you gotta play the game too. Like, just leave it alone. All right, so here's my question to the community. What are your thoughts on the edit clause? Like, do you think that it's fair? Do you think it's unfair? Do you think that people should, um, be given some grace on this? Do you think that, if you did edit the story that you don't deserve grace? Like it's your fault for editing the story. You should have understood that Webtoons was very clear. Like I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like be honest about it. Like say it with your whole chest. If you think that Webtoons is being fair, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I just love to have an honest conversation with everybody in the comments down below. All right, we'll do a quick Q&A and then I'm going to get off because it is super late here. And I've been streaming for an hour. And I need to make sure to update the video with the correct information. Oh, Kron said, I helped the creator from the originals and it was a pain. What are you talking about, Kron? Are you giving out tea? What creator? Willow said, did I miss something? Yeah, Webtoons has in-house artists and in-house writers. Like in the newsletters, we've been seeing like they have like a storyboard team. Like there's all types of people that work for Webtoons. Hi, Raccoon. Vero said, if they really want to enforce the rule, they may just use it to haggle you down on some payment in your contract or something stupid. Yeah, if they bring that up during contract negotiation, I would just walk away from the table. Like, I wouldn't even respond to them anymore. I'd delete the contact. I'd be like, are you serious? Aryu said it would be nice to get an official clarification from the horse's mouth. We're not going to get a clarification. They've already clarified. They said in the contract it is prohibited, but it's up to us to decide whether or not you'll continue or not. Like, this is like such a power trip type thing, in my opinion. Willow said, I think the no edit clause is fair game. Hey, I mean, that's how you feel. Perry said, I think the statement and then grace for all the edits prior to the clarification, then say no more from here forward. But there hasn't been a clarification. Like, I mean, they're emailing people, but what they're emailing people is like a nothing burger, in my opinion. Grant said, it is fair they have it in the rules. It is fair to be disqualified for that. It is not fair to have the edit button. I agree. Like, I think that it's not fair to have the edit button. And I agree that it's fair to be disqualified for it. I think what's not fair is not telling people if they're disqualified. I see. I think it's very fair. Some people may go back and change stuffs in their story, which is unfair. It's basically an advantage. How is it an advantage? Like, what do you mean? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what do you mean it's an advantage for them to make an edit? Raccoon Cube said, how I feel. I'm losing faith in my ability to finish on time. Don't worry, Raccoon, you got this. Lena said, I don't think people should be able to edit their episodes, but Webtoon should be clear and concise, and they should remove the edit button. Willow said, didn't they warn you if you tried to edit? We clarified this earlier. It's in the FAQ and it's in the contract. What I'm specifically talking about, like I said earlier, I agree with them about having the rule in there. That's their rule. It's their contest. They can do that. What I don't agree with is them saying we don't know. So why don't you know? Like, that's my whole issue. Like, if you're saying, hey, this could be disqualified, therefore you need to enter into another genre, how am I supposed to know I need to enter into another genre if you won't tell me? Colorito, the edit rule was never before in a Webtoon contest. I can understand it, so they can start from day one with grading webcomics. Prince Boring, I personally don't feel like they have been very clear. I feel like they're very wishy-washy, but I agree to not out yourself and just keep working if you think you did something wrong. Yep. Vero said, I do think the edit rule is fair since I did read the rules in its entirety. I don't know what to say for people that didn't read the rules more than once. Still a dumb rule though. Okay, so here's my thing about that though. So let's say you find out that someone moves on to the next round that did edit their series. Do you still think it's fair? Like, they said in their own rules that their editing is not allowed, but then they say it's up to their discretion. So technically they left a loophole where they said that either way, whether you edit or don't edit, it's up to us to decide if you move on to the next stage. So how is it fair if, regardless of what you do, Webtoons is going to pick whatever they want to pick? Like, there's very limited guidelines here. It's like if someone was in the Olympics and there was a very clear outspoken rule, no steroids. And then you find out, hey, that guy, he takes steroids. And like, he admits, yeah, I took steroids. And then they say, well, you know what? He's still amazing. So let's let him win. It's one of the few rules that they have that they said, like, do not do, but then they let you win anyway. So like, how is it a fair rule? Like, I don't think it's fair at all. Like, I think it's very one-sided. Like, we made this rule so that we could not like I just don't understand like who it's for, because Webtoons does not have to tell people how they graded the series. They've never said why they picked a series over another. When will you do a dramatic reading? I think I'll do one next week. Willow, personally, if you did well but accidentally edited, I doubt they will disqualify you. I agree with that. Lynn said, it's a fair rule, but the edit button should just not be there. But I mean, so let's go with that theory real quick. So everybody's like, the edit button shouldn't be there. Why not? Are you saying that people cannot control themselves? Because like if that's the case, then there shouldn't be a contract. Like I'm just taking it to an extreme and playing devil's advocate. Like we're saying it's a fair rule, but then we're saying like, but don't include the button. Why not? Like if it's a fair rule, then having the button there shouldn't matter. Like we can't have it both ways, people. Like we cannot say it's a fair rule and then say, but you're trying to entrap me, so get rid of that because it's too much temptation. So either the rule is unfair, or like the situation plays a part in this, and that's why people are falling prey to it, because the button's there. Like the whole issue comes down to the button being there. Like it's only a fair rule if the circumstances are correct, in my opinion. Said we might let you pass through. So it's kind of like, where do we draw the line on what's fair and not fair? And the issue is Webtoons. Webtoons does not want it to be fair. I mean, it's not fair. It's a competition. Only a few can win. Juan said, I think it makes sense. In the same types of competitions, you can't edit. You only send the entry. The thing is, just don't put the rule when it can be more easy to see. Okay, so I kind of agree with this. Like, I do think that the issue is the rule in of itself. And I think that, like, if this was another type of competition, you would submit your entry and that would be it. You wouldn't be able to edit it. You wouldn't be able to do anything. But because the fact that this is a digital contest and this is a live contest, like because of the fact that people can add additional episodes, like there's so many things that could be considered an edit to the initial submission. Like in other contests, you don't just submit a part of your entry, you submit the whole thing. So like there's so many ways to interpret this. And that's why I feel like the rule is not fair. Like saying you can't edit, like everything you do to your series after you publish it would technically be an edit. Adding new episodes would be an edit to the submission. So like, where do we draw the line? Let's say someone who's like super crazy was able to make 10 episodes. Is that fair or not fair? Like, where are we drawing the line with what's considered reasonable and unreasonable? Erica said, I think it's fair. The only thing that is suspicious is how they didn't disable the edit button to make it clear. I see, that's where I feel like if the rule is fair, then they can leave the edit button up. Lil Losum Sock. I think people should have definitely read the fine print and the FAQ of any contest they enter, but I also think strict enforcement of the rule is too limiting. Oh man, like that's a really interesting statement. Like you think that I agree that people should read the fine print. I 100% agree. And then I don't know if I disagree that it's too limiting, because it's like, it's their own contest. Like, if they're not going to enforce the rules, don't make any rules then. Yep, they'll talk to you if they want to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to put any effort into this in terms of being like, here's a disqualification notification. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I'm going to wrap this up. We've been talking about this for forever, and I don't necessarily want to bring anybody's mood down or make it like a conversation where it's just me against the people. So I appreciate you guys chatting with me, though. I appreciate us being able to have this dialogue where we can go back and forth and we can kind of see each other's perspectives. Like, obviously, everybody knows what side I'm on, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody, I'm hoping that if you do want the contract, that you get it. I'm hoping that if they do contact you, that they give you a fair offer. Like, that's all I want for all of my peoples here. All right, so with that said, it's time for my creator shout out. So this will go to another Webtoon 2025 contest entry. The series is called To Her Death. Please pause the screen to read it. And it is from somebody who's in our community. It is the amazing Kalmia. So like, look at that art. Like the illustration just eats so hard. Like, I love it so much. It looks so good. And thank you, as always, to those who create fan art. I love it so much. I cannot wait to show you guys some of the new pieces I've received. Like, I think it's just going to be amazing. Like, thank you guys for all of the hard work that you guys put in. And the fact that you guys are always offering up these little gifts to me just make me so happy. Thank you to my patrons. We're going to be doing a Patreon stream this weekend. So if you want to hang out with me and get some behind the scenes, then join the free tier on Patreon. All right, then I will catch you guys in the next video.